Okay, we're live. Shalom, ladies.
Shalom.
Okay, so, I've been getting some stuff on my internet and comments, and people have been saying, oh, these women can't live like you say. Women are supposed to live with men like y'all, and we'd like to hear from the women. And so here you all sit. I thank you for coming, and maybe we could just start very quickly, kind of introduce yourself, and tell us a little bit about yourself. We'll start with you, Sister Kate.
All right, I'm Sister Kate. I've been married to Pastor Joe for the past 30 years. I was the daughter of two people. My father worked for the government, and our family traveled around a lot when I was young. I was born out of the country and lived in several foreign countries. And then I went to college, graduated with an English degree, and I met and married Pastor Joe in college.
Sister Naomi, since Sister Abby's a little busy with her child.
I grew up and I was homeschooled all the way up, and I lived in Indiana all my life until I moved here. And before I was married, in my teenage years, I apprenticed under my mom to become a keeper of the home and a stay-at-home wife and mother.
All right. Sister Abby.
I grew up with a pastor as a father and a teacher as a mother, and we were in school, went to college, and met my husband in college. I do have a college degree that I finished after we were married.
So, what about college? What do you guys think about going to college? Sister Naomi, you didn't go. You two did go. What are some thoughts on that?
For me, I believe that there is benefits to college, but I don't believe that it's right for everybody.
And what did you tell me earlier?
For me, it was a waste of money in all reality, because the degree that I ended up getting was a general studies degree, and I am a stay-at-home wife, and that's what I wanted to do while I was getting my degree. It was a waste of time and money for our family for me to go to college. However, I do believe that some women who are called to be nurses and things like that benefit from college. For me, it was not the right fit.
Sister Kate?
I loved it. I was always a person who liked learning and was looking to learn at a high level things that I was not familiar with. So I had a really good time in college, and I enjoyed it. And our family did it a different way, so there was no student debt. My schooling was all paid for.
Sister Naomi, what do you think?
I didn't go to college, but I did further my education through different courses. I went through doula training. I took cake decorating classes, and just in natural medicine classes also.
All right. So, none of you women have a career outside the home, is that correct?
Correct.
And did any of you have it? Sister Naomi, you're just starting, and you're kind of starting. Sister Kate, did you have a career outside the home?
I wouldn't call it a career. With an English major, I could have gotten jobs related to that, like in newspaper or in publishing.
But did you?
But no.
So why thank you. That's just where I wanted to get to. So why did you guys not pursue, or why are you not now pursuing, because some of you are still quite young enough to do that, careers outside of the home? Anyone who wants to go first.
For me, I did pursue a career outside of the home initially. The first few years out of college, and even while I was still in college, I was working in the insurance industry. But for us, that was a means to an end. We were waiting at that time to start our family, so we figured we might as well knock out some of this debt while we can, and I don't have to be a stay-at-home mom at this point. So, but our goal was always for me to work, or to not work outside of the home and be a stay-at-home mom once we had children.
Sister Kate, what about you? Did you work before you had kids, or
I sure
after,
did.
or?
I worked in a General Electric engineering office as a secretary, which was fun for me. I enjoyed it. But as soon as I was pregnant with my first child, I told them, I'm finished, I'm going to stay home and be a mom.
Me?
Sure.
Okay. I just worked as a nanny and house cleaning, just basic things that were also in the domain of home, but I earned money for them.
Okay. So, we hear that being a stay-at-home mom, and I get these comments, oh my God, the drudgery, the boringness. You guys are chained, you're barefoot and pregnant and chained to the kitchen sink, and, so tell me about being a stay-at-home mom.
I guess I can go first on that because I've been a mom longer. I was really having a good time at home, and it was one of those things where it opened up an entire world to me, especially when I started to homeschool. Like, I've got all day to pursue things that I'm interested in, and so the kind of things we spent our days doing was going to museums, going to parks, going to plays. We explored our world, my kids, when we homeschooled, and even when I wasn't homeschooling and I wasn't at work, I would go to beaches and I would see movies and I'd go to markets and just antique stores and things, because the world is out there. And if I'm chained to my desk 8 hours a day, how much of the world are you seeing? You're not able to do the total exploration that's available to you when you are married and your husband can support you and your day is free for you to put anything in it you want, like getting training like Naomi did. So I thought it was great. I had a really good time the whole time I was raising my kids.
Anybody else?
For me, I mean, this is kind of a real world situation. I was just thrown up on. Like,
right, just.
Like, I can still smell the vomit on me. But
Awesome.
that is such a small part of what I do. I mean, I get to spend all day with my son, and my husband works from home, but so we get to see each other. I mean, I can have 3 meals a day prepared for my husband at our kitchen table that we all sit down and eat together. We can go outside and play for hours, and my son can explore his world. He's 18 months old, basically, so his world is still very small. We aren't able to do the museums and some of that stuff yet, but we're going to. But right now, I mean, our backyard is big enough for him, and he will spend hours looking at rocks and that type of thing, and I get to see the joy and wonderment in his eyes when he does that. And that's something I can't even, like, express, like, the joy that I feel just seeing him explore the world that he lives in.
My son is only 8 months old at this time, and he loves to meet new people. We don't stay at home all day, every day. We go out a lot. Like today, we're gone from 7 in the morning until 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And one of those experiences was we got to go to my husband's work, and I was able to share my motherhood experiences, and he was able to interact with a lot of high school students. And we've been doing that for the entire year in child development class, so they can see how he grows from 5 months to 10 months. And he really enjoys that. I really enjoy that. And that's something that we can do to minister to the world.
That's good. So what about, you're talking about taking care of your child. You're talking about homeschooling your 3 children. You're talking about taking your child out in the backyard and being a mom all day, or making 3 meals a day for your husband. What about time for you? What about self-actualization? I mean, you can have it all, baby. Don't you want to go do those things just for you and dump the brat kids and the stinky husband? I mean, what do you guys... this is what the world thinks, things along these lines, right? So what do you guys think about that? What about you? What about mommy time?
I can go. I still find mommy time. Like, my son is young enough and also that I'm training him on a schedule. Like, that sounds really bad that I'm training him on a schedule, but we have set schedules for him. So I know that he's going to take a nap. While he's taking a nap, what am I doing? Sometimes I'm doing dishes, yes, but sometimes I'm catching up on emails. Sometimes I'm soaking in the bathtub. If our bathtub was bigger, I'd probably soak in it more. But I sew. Like, I am able to find hobbies that are beneficial and give me joy and excitement. I mean, I spent numerous times this week just working on my handwriting and calligraphy and that type of thing. And that's totally me, and I can even do that with him. He was out exploring some trees in our front yard, and I was sitting on a swing working on some calligraphy just for fun, for me, because I enjoy that.
Echo what she said. I do remember a moment in my life when I realized I was not going to read a magazine article for a while, and I just gave it up. I mean, was that magazine article reading so important to my life that I needed to lock my kids in a closet so I could read my People magazine or my National Geographic or whatever? No. But you learn to blend it all together. Like when we went to the museums, I was also enjoying myself. I was looking at things and learning about things and making the whole trip fun for myself and fun for my kids. And I will echo what Sister Abby said. I got to watch my kids learn everywhere I took them. And I learned myself, but I got to teach them my view of what the world was and how it worked, and see them understand it and start to appreciate and enjoy it themselves. And so mommy time, how selfish do you want to be? Who's the person who says me, 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 me all the time? Is that God or is that Satan? I think giving of yourself to other people is way more fulfilling than sitting there spending hours on yourself. How boring is that? And how long can you do that before you want to pull your own hair out? So I think it's just a misconception of the world that it should be all about you.
But like Abby said, a routine is a big part of it, and if you want to do things to further your education, my son still takes 2 or 3 naps a day, so I'm able to do things during those times. And my husband and I like to create new meals together, so my son goes to bed like 6:30 in the evening, so usually we have a later dinner on nights that we want to cook together.
All right, so none of you are working right now. None of you are bringing in money to your family, and I've gotten a couple comments that this is impossible. That if you are not working alongside, in addition to your husband working, that obviously you're depriving your children. You're making your children suffer by not working outside the home and not bringing in that extra income. Now, do any of your husbands, to include your sister Kate, bring in, like $1 bazillion a year? I mean, you guys, I guess, you're all doctors and lawyers for husbands, right? So you don't have to work. You're like the privileged 1%, right? I mean, my point is how, and I guess you can address this any way you want. Just let me finish it up. How do you deal with not having the income that you all could bring to the table in your family, or that you could have, Sister Kate, whatever?
Okay, I'll go on that one. First of all, it's always a time versus money thing. What is more important to me? Having money to buy things or spending time with the people I love? To me, that's a very simple equation. I would rather spend the time with the people I love. And in my case, when my husband was working full time, some of the time it didn't matter if I wanted to be able to spend time with him. His job was not structured in such a way for that to happen. So I spent a lot of time with my kids, and I loved it. And I didn't want to work. Why would I want to spend 8 hours a day in some little cubicle on a phone, typing or doing whatever I am, away from the people that I love the most in the world? It just made no sense to me. And so I never thought it was going to be a great idea to...
But that's you. What about the money? What about the lack of income? Because all of you could bring in fairly significant income to your families. So, Sister Abby, what do you think? Because at one time you did, and now you're not.
Well, I mean, that's also a thing where you have to take into consideration, like, money management. Mm-hmm. Money management is huge. And for our car payments, like, the only debt we have is, school loans and I believe a mortgage. And maybe that's a little bit too much information to be saying. But that's all that we have. And my husband works a few jobs right now so that we can pay off those debts that we own, because we don't want to have that debt looming over us, and he's working hard to do that. But my job in this case then is to make sure that we aren't spending money frivolously. Like, we could be going to the movies every week. We could be going out to dinner every week. We could be going on trips. We could be doing all these different things, but we've taken into consideration the money that we have